Hey there everyone, this is Joe in General, your resident reason and evidence enthusiast. It's your weekly Bitcoin price analysis update. It is Friday the 18th of August 2017 or Thursday the 17th in many other parts of the world. Before we move on quickly, big thank you to the 61 new subscribers that have come on board in the last 10 hours. Ha! That is cool. In the last 10 hours since doing this video here, a mega mini crypto analysis on ADDX, Seacoin, Digibyte, and Redcoin. Thank you to all the fresh newbies that are on board. Welcome to the wild ride of cryptos and philosophy and politics and firearms and precious metals and preparedness and much other stuff. I don't just do cryptos, dudes, but I've kind of been focusing on it quite recently. That has built up my channel, but I do other things too. And subscribers that have been my subscribers for a while are used to seeing extra videos on different topics. So don't be surprised when you see something like Stefan Molyneux, what the bloop do atheists stand for? I got a few unsubscribers for posting this video, but I think if you actually checked out the video and you listened to what he had to say about it, you wouldn't have unsubscribed. That's what I think. Because I think maybe people reacted to the title of it and they made an assumption, but they shouldn't have made an assumption before checking out the video. Do check out that one. Interestingly, very interestingly, it's been demonetized by YouTube. YouTube censorship, fantastic. So let's screw them over by getting many more views. I won't get any cash for it, but hey, who cares, right? It's all about getting the message out there. So, on to the Bitcoin analysis. This is where we were last week. Always have to do a quick recap. We had topped out at $3,490, and of course that's the Bitstamp exchange price. It's the bitcoinwisdom.com website, and it's priced in US dollars. And look, I won't go into a massive recap. Just check out the previous video to, find out what I was talking about. I was talking potentially about, possibly coming back to test this 3,000 level right here. We didn't see that. And was talking about the levels in which we may see major resistance when we break eventually through this high. And I had been talking a lot about the 4,083 number, and that was based on this video from quite a while ago now. Where are we? 4083 I do see, and that was based on an old high and an old low and an exponential Fibonacci calculation of right here. See the old high of 1163 and an old low of 152.40, and the exponential Fibonacci calculation, the 1.618 level, came out to 4,083, and I was calling for, between 4,000 to 4,100 as the next major resistance point where we'd see, potentially a large retracement from there. Well, that did not occur. We actually topped out at a higher level of, between 4,000 to 4,100, and you guys have been following the price, so you already know what that price is, but reveal. Okay, so here we are. This is the live chart right now. Again, bitcoinwisdom.com website, Bitstamp exchange priced in US dollars. We have seen a run up all the way to $4,480 US. This is on the 3-day time chart. I'll punch in a little further in, but I just want you to get that larger sense of where we are. Even if I punch out right up to the weekly time frame, and that might be a little hard to see on small viewing devices such as mobile phones, but you can see that's that old high of 1163 and that old low of 152.40. And I was calling for that sort of 1.618 exponential Fibonacci level, and it's around about this kind of level right here, around about kind of there-ish. But as you can see, because we're using a logarithmic chart, right, the percentage increase difference between 4083 or between 4,000 to 4,100 and 4,400 something is, look at that, it's just so tiny. It's so tiny. So it's, not a real massive miscalculation, but I will talk about that again. I'll talk about a different type of Fibonacci, and we'll come back to that in a second. But let's pop right into we'll go into the 12 hour. No, actually, let's go into the 6 hour. So we'll see where we came up to, before we had a massive retracement, and we actually came up to a high of $4,400 before we saw a massive retracement of $600 from $4,400 all the way down to $3,800. Now, I will talk about this Fibonacci thing right now. Back ages and ages ago, when I was first started doing my Bitcoin analysis, it's actually my very first Bitcoin analysis video, funnily enough, and it was entitled All-Time High, What's Next? And that's when the all-time high was at 1,220, I think it was. And in this video, I was using a different type. I was using the more regular type of Fibonacci calculation, which is the linear Fibonacci calculation versus the exponential Fibonacci calculation. And back in this video, I did that calculation from the, as I said, the old high here of 1163 and that old low of 152. And I just used bitcoinwisdom.com's internal Fibonacci calculator, which happens to be a linear versus exponential. It's a linear Fibonacci calculation. So I'm going to do that for you again right now. And I'll show you why. I'll tell you, well, you'll find out why I'm doing that. So let's find that point of 1163. Actually, I need the extension, Fibonacci extension tool. There we go. Of 1163, drag that down to 152.40. Roughly, it should hit it exactly. There we go. Now, it had, look at all these points that it had been hitting. I know I've got a lot of lines here, but let's see if we can sort of follow this along. So, for example, this Fibonacci calculation, again, the linear Fibonacci, had been hitting and did hit some key points within the recent massive bull market in Bitcoin. As you can see, definitely the major hit here is this 61.8 level. Again, it's taken from this high of 1163, the low of 152. The 61.8 level hit bang on this level right here of 775. If I punch in a little further, you'll see that right there. That basically perfect hit pretty much right there. And you can see there's other points where the linear Fibonacci has also been, I wouldn't say perfect, but, some key levels have been hit. For example, the 78.6, that looks like a decent retracement level right there. And that's that, again, that's that 61.8 right there. And if we go up to right about here, let's pop into the 12 hour. So it's getting a little bit liney, but let me just go back here for a second. So as you can see, that's the 100%, that's the 0%. Now the 1.618% level was at 1787. That had a little bit of a hit, but not massive amount right there. But this 2.618 level right here of 2,798, or let's call it 2,800, where did that sit? Again, this is from a calculation from an old high of 1163, mind you, right? So that 2.618 of about $2,800, where has that, what's happened with that in recent price movements? If we take a look again, maybe at the 12 hour, you'll see there's that 2,800, 2.618 level, and 2,800 seemed to be a bit of a resistance point. As you can see, we did come up to that 2760 level back here. That was in, late May or early mid-May. That's kind of close enough to that 2800 level. It also acted as resistance right here, and also a level of sort of resistance around about here, so the key 2800 level roughly. So that was a key point, I think. And right here, the 4.236 level of 4,433, and look where that hit right there. That's pretty darn close to 4,400, still pretty close to 4,480 again, because we're on the logarithmic scale. If I zoom that out back out to say the 3-day time frame, zoom that all the way out, look where that hits. That's pretty interesting. Now, I'm not saying that linear Fibonacci wins out over exponential Fibonacci. I think they both have a place in technical analysis. I don't yet know which Fibonacci analysis, which type lends itself better to certain time frames. But I might have to keep doing my research on that. It could be, and I'm not saying this, but it could be that, for example, exponential Fibonacci is better for longer term, or maybe it's better for shorter term, and vice versa for linear. But look, it certainly seems to be, hitting some key levels, or the price hits some key linear Fibonacci levels. Now, have to understand, this is the Fibonacci levels that most people doing technical analysis using these types of websites use. So you have to factor in the psychological nature of linear Fibonacci. If most people are using it, and just like me, if they're popping in these Fibonacci, using the Fibonacci tool and popping in these lines, they're seeing the points. Let's say the price was here, and they prop in the Fibonacci level, and the price hasn't bumped up yet, but they say, oh, the 78.6 level could be, or here's the 1.618 or the 2.618 could be a major level. I will place trades, sell trades and buy trades accordingly. So it could be the psychology of seeing these different Fibonacci levels that could be driving it, right? So it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, if that makes sense. But certainly a big hit here of that 4,433 level on the linear Fibonacci. Again, certainly not discounting exponential Fibonacci. I've been talking about it for quite a while. I did say in one of my first videos about it that I was trialing exponential Fibonacci to see, gather some data, as I'm a reason and evidence enthusiast. But I'm going to continue to use exponential Fibonacci, definitely, but I'm also I'm going to go back to linear Fibonacci for that psychological play, if that makes sense. So let me just get rid of that. Actually, no, what I wanted to show you, this is going to be a long video, I think. What I wanted to show you was what the next Fibonacci level was, actually. So I will keep that on for now. So let me just pop in, maybe, that's right, I'll pop into here. What I wanted to talk about was a little bit of pattern recognition. So if I punch into the 2 hour here, actually maybe make it the 4 hour. See this little pattern here of rising up. This is the 3,940, which was where we were last week, that high. So we did run up to this high here of 4,400. Now, do you notice this pattern? Do you notice something interesting there? Do you recognize it from, recent price history? We came up to this level, 4,400. We had a decent sell-off. So we come up to a high, have a decent sell-off. We come back up, break that old high, creating a new all-time high. But that new all-time high is only a smidge above the previous all-time high. And then we have a retracement back down through this previous high and back down to lower levels. Have you seen that recently? And the answer is, well, I have, and I'm sure you have too. So let's punch it out. We need to punch it out maybe to the daily time frame for this. So if you notice that pattern there, and I noticed the pattern right here. This is when we came up to 2760. Came up to this high. We had a large sell-off. We came back up, broke that old high. Let me punch that in a little bit further. Actually, you need to see it like that. Broke that old high of 2760, made a new all-time high, but it was only a smidge above this old all-time high. And then we did see a sell-off and a further breakdown in price. Now, are we seeing that again? Could that be the case? Could it be a similar pattern that we're going to follow, where we may come back down again to these kind of prices? I think that's a possibility for sure. I'm not going to rule everything out, but I think, based on previous recent history, that could be a pattern that plays out again. Again, coming up, breaking through that old high, smidge above, and then back down for a little bit. That could certainly be the case. And if that is, we're talking about prices of potentially around, between your, I'd say, between your 38 3800 level to your 40, well, anywhere between 4480, the all-time high now, and that 3800 level, maybe, you know, hovering around here. Am I saying 100% that we're going to see lower prices from here? No. We could certainly, you know, creep right up to make new all-time highs very soon. But I just did notice that little pattern reoccurring from back here not that long ago. So maybe keep that one in the back of your mind. Now, if we do break down further from, even further from here, you've got this level here of about 3930, which could be a key level, and of course this level here of 3800. Breaking down through 3800, you'd be looking at potentially a test right here of that 35. That'd be the big level. That 3500 level would probably be the massive next key level of support. Now let's talk prices higher from here. I think I'm going to title this video with just a whole bunch of numbers, I think, and they're going to be higher numbers, sort of kind of to, you know, a little bit of clickbait, but I do think that these higher prices will be coming soon. So what are they going to be? All right. So first of all, you've most definitely, and everyone, this is very self-evident, you've got that higher level of the psychological value of 5,000. So definitely on the cards, a test of 5,000 is coming soon, and I think that's going to be, you know, a major psychological test. Interestingly also, Cliff High, with his Webbot report, he had been calling for a high of 4,888. That is right about, where are we? Right about there, roughly, 4,888 before that large sell-off. I think, well, we'll see what happens, but I think, you know, 4,888 on a logarithmic chart is so close to 5,000 that you could just basically call it the psychological value of 5,000 before we see another retracement down. Now, moving up from 5,000, where would be potentially some key resistance points? So I'm going to go back to, and that's why I kept this linear Fibonacci calculation here. Again, it's of this, you got to get sick of me repeating myself, of this old high of 1163 and the old low of 152.40. And unfortunately, the way that the bitcoinwisdom.com website works, it doesn't let you scroll up. It doesn't let you go to see higher potential prices, if you see what I mean. But as I said here, we had the 2618 level of 2800, the 4.236 level of 4433. The next significant Fibonacci level, and I'm using a linear Fibonacci calculator, and the next significant one here is the 6.853 Fibonacci level, again calculated from the high of 1163, low of 152.40, and it happens to come out at 7,078. So I think you could comfortably call that somewhere between $7,000 to $7,100. That could potentially be another major resistance point after breaking through the 5,000 level and breaking up from there. And this is, you know, longer term thinking, but breaking up from there. And again, I can't show you, but I think you will have a slight psychological value of 8,888. And I think a lot of you will understand the reason why that, you know, that's a very auspicious number in particularly in the Asian community. The Chinese think 8,888 is a very, very lucky number for eights. So I think that could potentially be, you know, a slight point of resistance, maybe not a major point, but a slight point of quadruple 8. And then, of course, we've got the magic psychological number of 10,000. I wish I could show you. I don't. It's kind of feel bad. I'm just, you know, you hearing me talk on this screen without showing you, you know, numbers and all that. But I do think 10,000, most definitely, that's very self-evident, is going to be a massive psychological value number. Pardon me. And I definitely think that's coming by the end of this year. The 10,000, again, in $10,000 US, convert that to whatever that is in your own currency, wherever you are in the world. $10,000 US is coming by the end of the year, in my opinion. That is not financial advice. And I think that will be a major psychological value, and that's very self-evident. I'm not telling you stuff you don't already know. But I think definitely what you'll see when it hits that $10,000 mark, might just switch through things just so at least you've got something to watch while I'm talking. That $10,000 mark is going to be a major point where the news outlets, it's all going to be on the news again. People are going to talk about, wow, $10,000 Bitcoin. And I think there you're going to see people jump in, get into the market, which may drive the price up a little bit further before the profit takers take their profits. And another key level that Cliff High talks about, half past human. Let me show you this. Cliff High, this is his Webbot reports. Another major point that Cliff High talks about in the Bitcoin price is $13,800. And again, that's in, I think he's talking that's in US dollars, I believe. So that could, and he's predicting that could come at around about February of next year. So potentially what you could see, and this is just blue sky thinking right now, this is just major just prediction, not based on massive amounts of reason and or evidence, but what you could potentially see is that run up to 10,000. The news outlets go nuts, go crazy about Bitcoin again, start talking about it a lot. You have a lot of new investors come into the market, which drives the price up to past that $10,000 mark, up to possibly around about that $13,800 mark. And quite possibly that's where a lot of profit takers take their profits, which will then see, a major retracement from there. Did that all make sense? I certainly hope it did. So I've given you my longer term price predictions, and we've talked about the price moving forward, talked about the linear versus exponential Fibonacci. I think I've covered all bases for this video. So thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Much more to come. I'm going to be doing very soon, probably in the next couple of days, a video on Populous. They are doing, actually, it's being released today, Friday, the 18th of August. They are releasing the alpha version of their website to the public, I believe it is. I think you can do it too. If you have, the right bits and pieces in place. You can, and I will be, jumping on the Populous website, populous.co. right here. Come on. Yeah, there you go. I'll be jumping on the Populous website. Their login for the alpha website isn't up just yet, but that'll be coming very soon. Going to log on, and I'm going to do a screen capture of my first experience with the alpha version of the Populous website, go through it and just talk about my first experience, where the kinks might be, any bugs, anything that's, could be improved visually as well, aesthetically. So I'll do that, and I will upload that to the channel. That's probably definitely going to come in probably the next 24 to 48 hours. So that's it, gang. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay informed. Speak soon.